I'm Raifa and I'll be your host for tonight. This is a program that is specifically designed to address some of the key challenges job seekers may face in their lifetime. When the conflict between hope and heartbreak shakes the core of our confidence, many of us are left doubting our capabilities. Some of us keep pushing on hopelessly, but some of us tend to give up. The impact a community with a larger number of unhappy people may face. This is a story that may seem unreal, but for a small percentage of our society, this is reality. Many will say this should not be the case, but only few will take upon the task to turn this should not into is not. This afternoon, we have all gathered in this room to be a part of a team who decided to work together and make that change happen. And this is what BCCS Employment Support Program is all about. This evening is not only about learning about the details of what we plan to do and how we plan to do them, but also to renew the spirit of collaboration and the power of hope. We certainly hope that we will learn a lot about this specific program, but at the same time, while talking about Employment Support Program, we will get a chance to know some of the amazing individuals who have come together to answer the call for help and support. At this time, I would like to start this event and by informing you guys a little bit more about BCCS, and to do that, I would like to invite Ms. Hasina Qadir, President of BCCS, to come forward and say a few words.
Pleasant surprise for me to be here this afternoon. I thought it was all for employment and Rizwan and the kids. However, I'm happy to be here, and it is very exciting that we are all here about employment. This is so important issue in our community, all communities. And I'm so happy that this is also a part of our mandate, the charitable mandate. The charitable mandates that we have, one of our mandate is to help the immigrants or the community to help them in the transition as well as to find. Okay. So that's what I said, is not only, I would say this is a milestone. We have been running for last 6-7 years, and this is one of our objectives, but we had some work done, but we could not do it in a very organized and structured way. And I hope that the senior mentor of our Youth Engagement Initiative, Rizwan Rahman, who is also a part of the program committee, who has taken great initiative today just to present something to help employment issue in the community. So definitely is a milestone for us. Very excited, very happy to be here, and we are all waiting very eagerly that what is come to. So again, congratulations, Rizwan, and for our very special program, and all of you. Welcome all of you to be here this afternoon. Saturday hasn't been a very good day for, I know Janet Davis is here, our counselor, who has been very, very, very supportive. Any time we invite her, she always tries to be here to support us. So, and I know that she has time constraint. So happy to see Janet. Happy to see all of you. Some of you I already know. And very happy that you come forward to support this program. Thank you.
I just wanted to let you know that as a member of the Canadian Voluntary community and a member of Youth Engagement Initiative here at BCCS, I appreciate your leadership, generosity, and of course your support. The next person I would like to invite to talk to us has been a key figure in the journey of materializing this dream project into reality. He is a member of BCCS Board of Directors, and a community leader, a champion of youth empowerment, and a patron of new ideas. He has graciously played a role of advisor to the organizing team of this employment support program and helped with his wisdom and insight. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Saeed Abdul Ghaffar.
I'd like to congratulate everybody and welcome who came in this evening, especially the rainy day. So when I came, I was in the shower. So anyhow, welcome everybody. Especially today's program is actually just we want to introduce ourselves, especially those who will work for this program. and BCS is going to support all this program. By this time already our president mentioned what's the BCS's aim and objectives. So this program is one of the aims or objectives of CCS as a charitable organization. And we already invite some of our journalists and local community personnel who will communicate for the next phase, and the board will approve, and we will go ahead. And again, thank you very much to come and join us, and hope our program will run well and good. Thank you very much. And I think I'd like to mention it. Ann Davis, I think she is supposed to leave at 6 o'clock. So I'd like to request Rizwan, if you can give her a chance to talk about this thing, it will be great. Thank you very much.
For the next items on our agenda, as just mentioned, Janet has to leave, so I would like to welcome her next. We have some, she has served in our community for a very long time now and shown sincerity by supporting various welfare and development initiatives. It's not easy to live a public life, serving people from different backgrounds and equally different needs and demands, unless one really feels it to say words have served our community as an elected representative for over 14 years now. Like many say, in a long period of time, the city council has changed, but not our councillor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my
to join you today. I will speak without the I know that Rizwan was going to make a presentation today to explain the program, and I understand, having though not seen the presentation, that it is a program intended to build a mentorship program that will allow professionals who are established here from the Bangladeshi community and the broader community to work with newcomers who have arrived here and who are struggling to upgrade their qualifications and to find work in Toronto. And I must say that this absolutely is an important and effective way to assist newcomers, and we do not do enough of that as government. So the fact that you, I don't know if you're receiving funding or you're doing it, I see a head shaking, you're doing this on a voluntary basis, and that I want to congratulate you. At the city, we do have a program called Profession to Profession, and we have a program called Career Bridge that we fund along and work with both the provincial and the federal governments to support. And what I do know about those mentorship programs is that they are very, very successful. It's one thing to upgrade your qualifications, but and to just find work, find housing, settle, and be able to afford to live in Toronto, let alone go out and make the kind of connections you need to get open doors in the private sector and the public sector. So that's the importance of a mentorship program. It assists people to meet, to share experiences. This is what my experience was, and this is how I think is the best approach. So having made the journey and sharing your experience with others is an incredibly effective way to help others. So I am thrilled to hear that that's happening. I've had discussions with our local community association who are looking to do some kind of a mentorship and bridging program as well. So I would be happy if you're looking for more mentors that are potentially locally, live locally. They may not speak the language, but who might be willing to participate in the program. I'm very happy to help out in any way I can. And just once again, Toronto, in the next, I think by 2025, probably have the number wrong, but we will rely 100% on newcomers and newcomers integrating into the economy. And it is important that we support that effort. The other thing that's very confusing in Canada is that we have 3 levels of government that all have a role. The federal government has immigration and settlement, the provincial government has employment and education, and the city doesn't have a technical role under the Constitution for settlement, but we play a role all the time in assisting as partners with the federal and provincial governments in these kinds of efforts. So we want to have effective immigration and settlement, and we want newcomers to be successful in our city. And the Bangladeshi community in particular has been amazing. In my experience, since I have come to know you, I have been so impressed with the level of education, commitment to education, and your commitment to settling here and ensuring that you continue to make a contribution to building the city and to building our country. So thank you very much. It's important work, and I hope you continue and are successful in these efforts. Thank you.
Welcome next is a good friend of most of ours sitting in this room. Wherever he goes, he always introduces himself as a community worker and leaves all the details out. Working closely with him for almost 3 years now, I have always wondered why. So while preparing for this event, I asked him for some of the major activities and organizations he is a part of. After taking a look at that long list, now I know why he introduces himself as a community worker. I was also tempted to introduce him as a community worker, but I thought, why not let the people here know a little bit more about him. He is a member of BCCS, founder, president, and current chief advisor of Youth Engagement Initiative, president of LEAD, Leadership for Economic Action and Development, director of Organization for Toronto IMLD Monument, director of Toronto Leader Plus, and visionary of this employment support program we are launching here today. The host of his own TV show called Point of Order, and a renowned MC. Please put your hands together for Rizwan Rahman.
This idea obviously comes to my mind, or came to my mind when I thought about what do we do? People who were blessed enough, people who are like among us who have received a lot of blessings from God above, sitting above. So this is something that I'm really proud of, and I would like to share all the plans in detail that we have here. If I go to the background, so I think it's important that we talk about the background, because unless we understand the background a little more, how would we commit and how would we feel aligned with this? And I think I can share one number, and that's 6.1%. So what this 6.1% is, it's the unemployment rate in Ontario, right? Now this is really amazing number. Most of the countries outside, is it good now? Okay. So most of the countries outside Canada, they would love to have a number like this, right? But the funny thing is, when I walk along the streets of my neighborhood, when I walk along the streets of most of the neighborhoods that I work as part of different charities, I don't see that enthusiasm, I don't see that excitement that, wow, our employment rate is so low, which means we're doing so well. So there must be something wrong, there must be something which is not working out, that we have 6.1 and yet there are a lot of people who are not happy, right? And I think the key point here is, I'll give you my story. Like when I came here first, the first job I did was in a call center, right? And then for about a year, I did not have any job at all. Then I was just probably one of those lucky persons who just happened to be in a place where they were recruiting and somehow they liked me. Being a lawyer, I joined supply chain, right? Now, this is just one story, and I could give you a lot of stories like this here. I could tell you about a guy who has the highest education in chemistry, who was a full professor in chemistry, and unfortunately or fortunately, he came to Canada, and then he is actually working at a Tim Hortons now, selling coffees, right? And I could give an example of an engineer who came here and working in McDonald's flipping burgers. Now, I don't have anything against those jobs. Those are all respectable jobs. But the question remains that did we come here to make burgers in McDonald's? Did we, as Canadians, promise to those guys that, okay, you need to be a doctor to apply for immigration, but then once you come here, you're on your own and you have to fry burgers or you have to make coffees. So if we told millions of people that to come to Canada, you have to actually be an engineer, you have to be a social worker, or you have to be, a doctor, then aren't we breaching our promise by making them work in a job that they feel really not happy about, right? So these are all the backgrounds, these are the stories. Now, so far what I've told you guys is obviously pretty sad, it paints a sad picture. You'd imagine that probably people are really crying outside, but that is not the case. It is changing. So the background includes the hope as well, the piece of hope that I always talk about, that in this room we have people, and I want to mention, I want to only share stories which relates to people who are sitting in this room, because I know a lot of them, I know their stories, and these creates the sense of credibility, that I'm not just making up stories, right? So in this very room, we have a gentleman who came here about 4 years ago, and despite being the chief of supply chain for an entire or probably a couple of continents, which is called Asia Pacific. So he was the chief of supply chain of a big organization in Asia Pacific, and then he migrates here, and he got a job in the same company, but on a store level, on the store floor. So you imagine the shock that guy went through, right? But the reason why I say there is hope in this story, because that guy didn't give up. He kept on working in that job, and he kept on networking. He kept on going out and meeting people. And within a year's time, that guy started as a consultant in PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. And now he's a supply chain consultant of that organization, sitting in this very room. And in this very room, we have people who came as, I told you my story, so I shouldn't repeat that, right? But there are people like that. So that is the hope. Now, how do we bridge the gap between heartbreak and hope? And that is the core piece of this program. That is what exactly we want to do in this program. In this room, we have a lady who came from Colombia, right? Probably it's so obvious you'll know who I'm talking about. But the lady came from Colombia, and she made her way through all the challenges and all the hurdles that were placed in her path. And she is actually in a very, I would say, in a leadership position in one of the largest, the largest pharmaceutical company in Canada. So these are the people who came together. When I reached out to them seeking help, these are the people who said, yes, we will help because we have our own stories. And there cannot be anything more important than having your own story and sharing it when you're trying to inspire people. Sorry I took too long to cover the background, but I thought it's important that I share why we're doing what we're doing. And therefore, this 6.1%, I'll replace it by this is the background. A bunch of people from different backgrounds came together with the intention to help people. This will be the driving force of our program. Now, I want to go into a little detail. So, we're calling it Employment Support Program, ESP. And the way we planned it, there will be 4 phases. And each cycle, if we imagine this as a cycle, there will be 4 phases in each cycle. And if everything works out fine, finance and all other things, then obviously we'll plan to do 3 or 4 cycles a year. But let's just see what each cycle would have. So phase 1 will be the PR, client registration, resume reviews, and career counseling. So this is phase 1, and actually we're starting phase 1 of the first cycle today. We have some journalist friends here in both print and video. So they will cover this, and the news will go out in all sorts of media, electronic and print. And then the expectation is all local newspapers or even city newspapers, we will put ads that, okay, there is a service where you can send your resume, and then there are skilled people who will look at those resumes, and then obviously the explanation of the program will be there. So phase 1 is there, and then comes phase 2, which includes workshops, networking events, and a networking dinner. Workshops, why we need workshop is, what I've experienced that probably there is a guy with 10 years of marketing experience. I actually met a guy who had, I think, more than 10 years of marketing experience, and he worked as a marketing director for Nestle. I think it was Nestle. And then the guy comes in here, right? And then it made me feel so bad because he reached out to me and he's like, Rizwan, I need help to get a job. but he worked up this level and I'm in this level. So I have to explain that to become a brand director or brand manager, I could direct you to the right person, but I cannot refer you. Even if I refer you, it's not going to work out. That's the reality. That's level setting, as we call it. So the workshop, and then what happened, a lot of things happened, but the workshop is actually to train you, to share with you how you should network, right? Of course you should meet all the people, but you should target what level of job holders will be able to help you, and you should find them and you should network with them. So those are the things, and then obviously professional etiquette is a big issue. Like Bangladeshi people, we come from a totally different culture, where if you are one level higher than me, I always call you a sir, right? You always have your, if you have an office, then you have people who are fetching teas and all those things, which doesn't work here, right? So those trainings, professional, what to expect, those will be covered in that phase 2. And then phase 3 is guidance, training, and mentorship. And this is where some individuals very graciously have agreed to support me in the mentorship part of it. So guidance, training, these will all be part of mentorship. And then finally, we'll finish the cycle with a job or career fair. Now, the idea of this job fair is we will have employers from every level. We will have employers who employ for retail floor positions. We will have employers who are looking for analysts in their corporate head office or whatnot. So our job fair should cover all level of employers and all level of employment. Now I want to share a little more detail. I think I've already covered it, what phase 1 will include. So newspaper, ads, social media campaign, posters, leaflets, then obviously invite resumes. And this is a key piece, no brush-ups necessary. Because what happens is oftentimes if somebody tells me, okay, just brush up your resume and send it to me, I get so scared that what would I write, right? Then it actually puts me off. I take some more days and I don't react quickly enough. So our message is, you don't need to brush up your resume, just send us what you have, because we don't need your resume right now to actually give you a job. It's more like to understand your skills. Then we'll book 15 to 20 minutes initial assessment interviews with each person who sent us their resume. And we will have individuals. Why do we want to book those interviews? To actually understand what their experience is and also level set. Make them understand that if I have 10 years of experience, I was a manager, the moment I come here, I cannot get a job as a manager. I have to start from, and it's realistic, I have to start from a level which may be 1 or 2 pay levels lower than a manager. But we have to just set our expectations based on that. It's called reality check. So we'll do that. And then we'll record resumes in appropriate pools, like urgent, survival, regular, business. So if somebody has just arrived and they need a job on an urgent basis, I got a call from a lady who just landed about a few months ago, and she needs a job just to pay her bills. So obviously I cannot tell that lady that, okay, this is a 4-month cycle, why don't you join, you get training how to become an analyst. She'll be like, no, I don't want to be an analyst, I just need to pay my bills. So we will sort out resumes on those categories, urgent, survival. And then obviously regular means people who already have jobs, but they just want to get into their actual stream of work. And then obviously there will be business resumes. So if somebody wants to just become an entrepreneur, that person will also receive mentoring and guidelines from us. So then comes phase 2, which is a workshop on resume, all those workshops. So we'll have workshops on resumes, how to prepare a position, job-specific resume. And I won't just go through this, I'll just put it up here so that you could read. Professional etiquette, technology, MS Excel. We have a gentleman in our pool of mentors who's almost like a wizard in Excel. So hopefully we'll invite that person to run some Excel workshops. Because in this country, if you want a corporate job, Excel is almost like you have to know. And some other workshops too. And then strategic decision making. This is a key piece here, because when I'm a job seeker, oftentimes I get carried away. Like what happened to me, I came here and I thought, okay, I have to become a lawyer because that's what I was. And I just started taking courses, writing exams. But the fact is, later I realized that, okay, do do I actually want to write my exams and become a lawyer with all the uncertainties that I'll face because I don't have a network? Or do I actually go for a job which will give me financial security and then go forward? So those are the strategic decisions that we have to make, and we will help those persons. Through those 15 to 20 minutes interviews, we will actually talk to those people and we'll make them aware of the facts. And then we'll have a networking dinner. Now this is very close to my heart. So networking dinner is, we will host a dinner, a formal dinner, where we'll have all our mentors present, and we will have all the potential mentees present as well. This will be a totally free of charge. And the reason why we want to do it is that would be the first time when the potential mentors will have a chance to meet the mentees and have some interaction. And until that point, we won't bother mentors with all the resumes and everything, because we will have other people who will take care of that. But that will be the first point of contact. Now, the reason why I say this is very close to my heart, because there are people here who will talk to probably 10 people in that night, during that dinner. And probably the mentors, they'll say, okay, I have met Osmani and I have met Ghaffar, and I feel that Ghaffar has a strong potential that I could actually help him get a job. Because maybe he's from finance background, I'm from finance too, and I have network, all those things. So after that network, the mentors will have a chance to actually know the people that they will be mentoring, and then make a call that, okay, this is the person I want to go with, this is the person I want to mentor. So that is the key piece of our program. And then comes phase 3, which is personal guidance and mentoring, referral, and facilitating further networking and training for aspiring entrepreneurs. Personal guidance, this is the piece where the mentors take over. So we won't be a part of this. Our job is actually to host that dinner, get the mentors and the mentees connected, and from that point on, it's up to the mentors and the mentees to decide how they want to take it forward. Probably a coffee meeting every month or something, it's entirely up to them. Our responsibility comes at the last phase, which is job or career fair. Real employers, real employment, catering to job seekers with different goals. That is my motto, that is our motto. And the reason why I say this is because there are so many job fairs I noticed where probably out of the 15 people who have their booths, 5 of them are just informative. And probably, or even 10 of them are informative, and 5 are actually looking to offer positions. My goal is that we want to offer a real job. People who show up in those job fairs should not be disappointed that, oh, I went there and there was only like 10 positions. And we have started working on that. And the amazing piece is, I had a chat with one of our local journalists a couple of weeks ago. It was videotaped and then put on a newspaper. And I started getting calls from all kind of people, entrepreneurs and self-employed people. And one person reached out to me and said, Rizwan, I'm opening a fashion showroom. Like, she has a fashion house business. She told me, I'm opening a showroom and I'll need 4 people on an urgent basis, meaning like in 3-4 weeks. So why don't you see if you can find some people who really need a job? So before even we move to the job fair, we already have positions that we can offer to people. That is the best part of, I think, all this communication and media. So the first cycle, today is obviously we're having the official program launch ceremony. Then from today, actually I should say from tomorrow, we'll have this planned enrollment phase starting. So news will go on online news portals, local newspapers will put ads, and there will be an email address where people can email their resumes and obviously get registered as clients. And then we'll have all the workshops in September. Networking night, we are planning the networking dinner. We're planning to have it in September 29th or 30th, based on availability. And then we'll have client consultation and feedback from October 1st to October 30th. It will take 1 month. And then job career fair will have, okay, excuse the typos here. So career fair will have November 2017. The organizing team, you've already heard from our advisor, Mr. Syed Ghaffar. I'll be leading the program. And then we'll have program assistants. And remember I talked about those receiving the resumes, sorting them out, putting them into buckets. This will be done by the program assistant, who I hope will be trained in job developing or job counseling, so that they see a resume and they can clearly see what's written beyond the paper. And then we'll have members, and this is where I get really excited, because you will see that all of them are member of Youth Engagement Initiative. This is a youth organization that we have here, and one of the member is Raifa. She's the vice president. She goes to high school. Then we have Kashaf. Where is Kashaf? There he is. He just graduated, and he's the most senior person after me in the team. And then we have Kabra and we have Zubair who couldn't come here. So this is a team of youth who are managing this entire program. And I think by doing this, they have taken up a job that, like, you know, it should be a memorable experience for them as well. And I want to thank our communications partner, CBN24.ca. Mr. Osmani is here. He runs his own news portal, and I think he has a follower of more than 10,000 regular subscribers of his newspaper. And we want to thank Leadership for Economic Actions and Development, who have partnered with us. And then the most important piece, all these activities that I've talked about, we are not receiving, and we don't even plan to receive a single dollar from the government or any public funding, because we felt that we should help ourselves. So therefore, I'm really grateful to some of the amazing individuals, some of whom are already in this room, who have told me that, don't worry about the number, I'll give you the check, right? And this is actually, I'm quoting, there is one person who told me that, right? And he's sitting in this room, so I'm not lying, right? So I want to recognize those amazing individuals too. First is Mr. Manik Chanda, who is a realtor, leader of Team Dual Plus. And then a very young and talented lawyer. You can see Wasim on the far left. So he's also in this room, I believe. Wasim, yeah, he's there. And then we have Mr. Anamul Haq. He's also a realtor, and this is the person who told me that I'll give you the check, don't worry about the number. He's sitting over right there. And then also Global Citizen Property and Investment Management Inc. They have also offered support, so we thank the leadership. And now, the key piece, which is I want to introduce you to the mentors. Some of them are here today, but obviously due to, this is kind of in corporate world, this is the holiday season, vacation season, so everybody takes vacations. So most of them are away, but at least some of them have graciously agreed to be present here. We have Mr. Bob McCullough, who's the Director of Customer Logistics for Johnson & Johnson. He's a veteran in sales, customer relationship, and logistics. I won't go through the entire text, but Mr. Bob McCullough will be with us at the networking dinner. And then Mr. Robert Carmichael, he was my boss. He's the customer logistics manager. I think now he has moved to business project manager for business development at Johnson & Johnson. So he will be with us too. And then George, I can never pronounce his last name. So George is my current boss. He's okay, so probably I'm mixing it up. Yeah. So George is my current boss. He's the manager for trade relations at Janssen. And then we have Mr. Fahad Rafiq sitting over there. He is the manager of finance at National Real Estate Investment. Thank you very much, Fahad. We have Mr. Jonathan Kumar, who's not here today. He's the associate manager, central planning at Walmart Canada. So he will be with us too. And then we have Naila Ahmed, who's working as business analyst for Appletax. I think I saw Naila somewhere over there. So she'll be with us. And then we have Mr. Iqbal Hussain. Iqbal is a management consultant for PwC. Iqbal Bhai is over there. And I'm so grateful. The reason why I'm tempted to read the text, because you can imagine, like, despite having all those commitments, family, friends, job, they have still managed the time to come and share with us, and actually they'll be a part of us for this entire journey, so I can't thank them enough. Then Mr. Ravi Mehta sitting over there, he works for Adidas. Should I say represents Adidas with some funding? Yeah, okay. And then we have Gizem Ozdemir right over there. And something about Gizem is, she is the youngest manager at Hudson Bay Company, HBC. She has recently moved to Lowe's, so I'm very grateful for you that you made some time. Then we'll have Cara Dean, who's a senior trade relations analyst working at Janssen. She'll be joining us too. And then we have Mr. Biplav Kar, who works for Scotiabank as a senior SharePoint architect. I think here's that person. And I'd like you guys to focus on their area of expertise. You'll see we've got people from almost a very diverse background, which we really wanted. And then we don't have with us here, but she'll be joining us, Shobita Somani, and she works for TD Wealth, so she'll be joining us. And then we have Ajanta Chaudhary. Many of you know Ajanta, sitting over there. You know her as an MC, but she actually she represents a stream which may be suitable for many of our new immigrants, because yes, she has a PhD in molecular biology, but she doesn't go to any office to work. She works from home, and she actually works, she has her employer in Japan who obviously they communicate. So this work from home piece really got me. I'm like, okay, if like, you know, she could guide some people to actually get jobs where they'll be working from home, why not? And then we don't have in the room Arif. So Arif is works for CIBC as a business fraud investigator. We used to study law together. We studied law together. Now he is in business fraud investigation. And then we have Miss Sabina Bari Lucky, sitting right over there. She has a very diverse background. So she graduated, I think, economics, right? She did her bachelor's and master's in economics. Then she moved to media and communications, where she was a senior producer for multiple TV channels. And then she switched to nursing after coming here. And I just heard about her background, and I said that would be so educating for many of us, that how you react based on changed circumstances. So she has very graciously agreed to help us. And then we have Mr. Riyad Mahmood sitting right over there. Riyad works for RBC as a banking advisor, and actually he was a senior assistant secretary for the government of Bangladesh before he moved here. So he'll be joining us too. And then we have Maria Rubiano right over there. We work in the same team, so she is the project and data analyst for Janssen. And look at her background. She has an engineering degree, and then she slowly switched to data analysis. I could say it's related, but that is a diverse experience. And then we don't have in this room today, but he'll be joining us, Mr. Mithun Reza. And Mr. Reza has a degree in music, and now he works for Park Inn by Radisson. So this is our official email address where people can actually send emails with their resumes. This will go on newspapers, bccs.lead.esp, employment support program @gmail.com. So if you take anything away from this meeting, I would say just take away this information, bccs.lead.esp@gmail.com. And
can I request you to request all the mentors to be here so that we can see? But they're all
yes, that is a very good idea. So if I could please invite the lovely mentors to come up front and yes. Hi. So Gizem, Nishi, legally correct now when I say this, but you see people from different countries, different ethnic backgrounds, they all came together to support our community. And a round of applause for them, please. We can't thank them enough. And over the course of today, we'll probably hear a few of them. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
As a Bangladeshi community, we face a lot of barriers for job searching. Government, they have thousands of programs. Like first, when I came to this country, when I go to this employment center, I got some help, but that helped me 2 to 5% to find out my job. So what are the niche you are thinking to helping this community? Like that would be really benefited. Like as an example, I can tell me myself, my experience. I went to the agency, they took my exam, and then I got the employment. But none of them from the employment agencies, right? So some of the things, like as a myth I can share, like as a Bangladeshi or Indian community people, employer says, oh, we got smell from your clothing because you get curry and it's curry smell, right? So I didn't know about that. They thought about that much, about our ethnic background or cultural thing. There are some invisible barriers here. So in this competitive world, we have to know a lot of things to stand here or compete. So my thinking, as a ethnic background, what are the different thing? What are the niche thing you are adding in this employment program so that our people can be most benefited?
Right. First of all, what we call barriers or discrimination to some extent, right? First, we have to accept that we need to change, right? And this is the key piece here, because as I mentioned, we come from a culture which is entirely different, even the work culture, right? So if you sit next to me, or if anybody sits next to me who is from Bangladeshi background, probably won't find a curry smell. But probably if I'll just put the spotlight on Gizem. If she stands next to me, she might find a curry smell. Since you mentioned, right? We have to understand. No, this is a conversation not politically correct, but this is reality check, right? We have to accept that we have to focus on correcting those areas, changing those areas. Number one. Number two is communication, and this is what I want to add to this program: a training on proper communication. A few people reached out to me in the last few days after the interview got aired, and they were like, "We need a job," which is good. That is what we're here for, to help people. But when you say, "Okay, there is the program, so wait for the information," they did not stop. So messages kept on coming and coming from different parts of the world, right? And there comes a point you just get, like, you just probably lose your patience, right? These are the training that how to network. I told, I think, one of my, I said my kids, but obviously my youth team members, I told one of my kids here that you don't get a job by begging. You get a job by showing that you're worth it, right? These are the cultural or like thought changes that we have to like accept. That I can, even in a networking dinner, if you meet me and I just like, "Please ma'am, I need a job, I have a family," and all those things, like, you won't be excited about that meeting, right? So those are the trainings, the tricks, tips and tricks, as they say, of networking we're going to add through this program. And the other thing is we're bringing a big personal touch to the mentoring thing, because I can tell you that there is one individual sitting in this room who, when I needed a job, who reached out to me. She's a friend of mine. She reached out to me and she said, "Rizwan, I'm planning to leave the job. Do you want this role?" She still didn't serve her notice, right? And then I said, "Yes, I would like that job," right? And she served her notice and my resume at the same time to her boss, right? And I got the job in Johnson & Johnson. Right? So these are the power of networking. These are the tricks how you network, right? And I still remember that person, actually, I sent her my resume and that person said, "This is not good, change it." And I said, "I'm outside." She started screaming at me like, "What do you mean you're outside? Go back and change it," right? I changed it, sent it to her. Half an hour later, she says, "No, this is not good enough. Make those changes." I said, "I cannot." And she says, "Okay, I'll help you." So she was kind enough, she changed it for a few pieces of that. But this is the level of mentorship we want to introduce. It's not just meeting for a coffee. You build that personal connection. How you meet in person, right? And these are the things that we would like to introduce to this program. I hope I covered part of your question. Yeah. Any other question? And we'll have a chance to kind of talk more about this. So, yes, I'll pass it back to Raifa to take it over. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Rizwan, for taking us through the details of the program and answering all our questions. I'm sure if we can always reach out to you in the future if we have any other questions or even after the program. As we all know, no program can successfully run without adequate financial resources. And in today's world, where it's a time of cuts and cost savings, it's really hard to think of an initiative where the cost could be nearly thousands of dollars, but we have no access to public funding. However, as wise men of old time used to say, if you wish for something good, if you wish hard enough, paths to success present themselves before you in various guises. Our employment support program has found such partners on the road to success, and we are grateful for their generosity and assurance of partnership. The next person I would like to invite in front of you to say a few words is a successful real estate agent professional. A real estate broker working with Century 21 Innovative Realty Incorporated, a leader of Team Dwell Plus. He is a prominent social and cultural activist in the Bangladeshi Canadian community. A versatile actor leading Toronto Leader Plus as its president and director of LEAD, Leadership for Economic Action and Development. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome in front the sponsor of Employment Support Program, Mr. Manik Chanda.
Good afternoon, everybody. So after explanation about the background and the future plan and region speech, I don't think anything to say here. So everybody knows the importance of this initiative. Before 6 months, I think 6 or 7 months, Rizwan spoke to me about this issue. And I was excited because in my life too, I didn't get the job here. So even though I had 14 years accounting experience background, I didn't get a entry-level job here. Still now I'm not doing any job. After that, I came to the real estate, self-employed. Anyway, so I know it is very important for our society, for our community, and I'm very, very happy, delighted, and grateful to, especially to Rizwan. So I'm very proud to become a part of this program, initiative, and future I will be with this program, not only Rizwan, with all. Thank you for coming. So my help will be always, I will try to help, and I'll be a part of this, not only the sponsor, as a sponsor, as a part. So thank you everybody.
Thanks, Mr. Manik Chanda. Our community has been mesmerized by your performance on stage as an actor so far. I'm sure with your kind contribution, a very important area of our community will experience noticeable changes for the better. Ladies and gentlemen, the next guest I would like to welcome here is a new friend we have met fairly recently. But like any good friendships, we have worked well since day one. Despite not officially being responsible to support many of the social and cultural initiatives that we take, he has always extended the hand of friendship and support. May I introduce Mr. Karthik Gandaval, the trustee of Toronto District School Board from Ward 18, Scarborough South.
It's a pleasure and a privilege to join Rizwan Bhai and the BCCS on the inauguration of an incredibly important event and program, really. And I'd like to thank all the mentors, sponsors for making this happen. It's incredibly important for a new and growing community to have these types of supports to help individuals start a new life, really. You know, as the MC mentioned, I'm relatively new to, obviously not Bangla myself, but new to the community, but I felt very welcome as part of this community. And I think that's exactly what this organization and this program is doing, is helping new immigrants, primarily Bangla from the Bangladesh community, to feel part of the wider Canadian community. Not everyone comes here with brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, relatives to help them put their feet in the ground and establish themselves. So in a way, what BCCS and ESP is doing is providing that family support to help establish new Canadians. So I thank you for doing this on behalf of the school board. And one thing that I've done as a school trustee, and many of you know, or many of your children have attended the schools of SATEC and RH King. In the fall of last year, we started a program because the grades 9 to 12 are incredibly important when young adults start choosing which university to choose and which career to stand up in. And what we did in the fall is we brought together many, and actually 95% of them were South Asian background, in different fields, generally in their 30s and 40s, to share their story of what they study in university. Many times what they study in university is not what you do as your career, and how you reach a certain path, whether it's in entrepreneurship, health sciences, education, technology, and they shared their stories. That's something I think we could perhaps partner with in terms of how you expose young people or new Canadians to different careers. And you know, I think Rizwan touched on how networking plays an incredibly important in terms of skills development. I'll close with a story. Before I got into politics, I was a teacher. And I was a teacher in a school where it was a very diverse population. It was actually Regent Heights, Pharmacy and St. Clair. And I remember one day when I was a child, because I grew up here, my parents came here a long time ago, I was in grade 1, and we were very shy to take our rice and curry to school, right? To touch on the question earlier, right? I didn't want to because primarily, Canadian or white Canadians were majority, and we felt shy, it smelled, whatnot. And we took cheese and bread sandwiches, which now I could never eat because the tongue is so developed to the spice levels, right? So when I was a teacher, I would make it a point to bring rice and curry to the classroom and eat in front of the kids so they know that your heritage, culture, and identity is valued, it's treasured, and it's part of the mainstream. And I noticed kids who are, and many of them, as you know, pharmacists say, a lot of Bangladeshi found Bengali kids, they would see that, and obviously our food is very similar. And then they would think, because I know 25 years ago, same thoughts 30 years ago were going through my head about not to bring our food into the mainstream culture. And then I saw them bringing in rice and curry or roti and curry, and that's part of, something we should, as we seek to acclimatize and naturalize ourselves as Canadians, we don't lose our heritage and identity. And now I don't care where I take my rice and curry, whether it's at the school board or any meetings that I have, political meetings. I need the food that nourishes me, right? So I'd like to thank BCCS and ESP for nourishing the wider community. And I thank you all for doing this. Thank you, Pat.
Next two segments, because we have two more individuals who have been really great help in financially to run this program or even think of running this program. So if I could please invite in front of us and say a few words, Mr. Enamul Haq, real estate agent. Please, Enamul Bhai, you have to say something. This is the guy who said, I keep on saying, and I've said it many
much. Thank you, Rajan Bhai, and thank you all the guests up here. It is my opportunity to hear a few words. Actually, I'm not a speaker, so I like to work. When he mentioned that actually he is not is activist. I like to have my community. I like to have my community growing here. When it comes to the money, I would like to remind every one of us a few things. What I believe is any good work never stops for the money. It needs only effort. And these days, recently that I sometimes follow on the Facebook, especially few of our newer people here, young people, they're working for the community, Rizwan Bhai, Usman Bhai. I see their posts and I get a really great hope for our community here in Canada. That yes, what we gonna do here, they're gonna do it.
Yes.
Even to say, I'm here almost for 24 years. And very rarely that I could do anything for the community, what you are doing right now. That was my dream, to do something here for our generation that coming, for our youth. Few days ago, what happened, what happened to the young man, your post, I like the post, that yes, somebody took initiative how we can help. These days, if you see any community event, mostly sponsored by the realtor. And it's not cheap. Manik Bhai knows that. Any event run by most likely by the realtor. So I believe if you can do your effort, you can do the right thing, money will not be an issue. And all of us, the way we have any event, $50,000, $60,000 budget, so the government is here. And we are doing these things. If we count how many picnic we do in our community level, how much money we spend on the biryani. If you can save some money from there, event like that is not a big issue. So it is my pleasure to be here, to be with Rizwan Bhai. It is not that long actually, I met with him in my client appreciation dinner. And since then the guy is so like that I know him for a long time. So it is my pleasure to let me know, and as I said, I will be always with you, whatever way I can help you to do something for our community. Not only whoever is coming new, also our youth generation. I'm glad to see all those youth that get involving here. I like to say that more young is involved here. I break the ice. Most, even though they are educated here, some of the youth is still there, feel shy or very hard to meet in the community. When I finished my diploma in Senegal College, one thing they told us, about 60% job are hidden job. Out of the 100% job that comes to Canada in Canadian market, is only 40% come to the advertisement level, and 60% job is hidden, hired by the internal networking. And this is what they have encouraged us to do networking. So what you are doing is not only the newcomer helpful, only the young people there need help as well. So I wish you all the best, and I will be with you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you. Thank you very much.
to come in front of us and say a few words. A very young barrister, probably he's the youngest barrister our community has, Mr. Wasim Ahmed. Wasim, if you could please come up. Well, I'm not on the stage, but
thank you. Thank you very much for asking me to be here today. Thank you, Rizwan Bhai. It's been a pleasure being here. First of all, I can't really explain how much I appreciate you taking this initiative to organize an event like this. You know, I used to work, before becoming a lawyer, I used to work for an NGO and a charity. At that time, I used to work for organizations like Jewish Family Services and many other community centers, as well as I used to, and when I became a lawyer, I also worked with Jewish Family Services a lot. And I always felt like looking at them, how they work, how they develop their community, how they support their employment programs and everything else. I always wish that somebody from our community steps up and takes an initiative like this. Because I saw how much need there is in our community. So first of all, a great appreciation of what you have done and bringing all those great individuals with tremendous success in their career. And thank you all for all your time and effort. Secondly, and I just wanted to quickly share my experience. And one of the participants today, what she said about the Korean, the smell, the stereotypes, essentially. When I was applying for articling positions, I'm based in Ottawa, by the way, so this is where I grew up, and then I moved to Toronto for law school. But when I was applying for law schools, you know, I didn't know that many people in Toronto. When I applied for my articling positions, I applied for more than 70 applications before I first got my interview call. It was a very difficult time for me. It was emotionally very difficult. It affected my self-esteem in a way. I felt like, am I not even worth an interview? Yeah, that's a general experience for every law student who goes through this process. It's a process, I knew it. But after making more than 70 applications, I wasn't getting an interview call. It was really, really bothering me. And then the first interview that I got was at Ontario College of Trades under a provincial tribunal, and they offered me the position right there and then on the table. They conducted more than 40 interviews before me. So the thing is, I believe our people from our community are talented, they're smart, they have all the potential, but unfortunately there are a lot of systematic as well as institutional, whatever way you want to put it, direct or indirect discrimination and racism we do have still in our society, and this is why we're facing a lot of barriers. And this event is actually a great initiative, a great opportunity for us to break that barrier, because one of the institutions that really helped me was the Ryerson Law Practice Program. When I took their mentorship, I had people who actually guided me in drafting reviewing my resume, giving feedbacks, and correcting, giving me advice on how you should highlight this skill for this position, that skill for this position. That mentorship actually helped me a lot. And then I met one of the mentors from there, was a lawyer, Beth Kibur, and she actually got me connected after seeing me to another lawyer, Mr. Roger Rowe, who is one of the most famous lawyer in the immigration and family law area, and I was able to secure an associate position with this firm where I practiced for all these years until I came to my community and I started my law firm here. So this is an amazing opportunity, and I'm willing to support it any way I can. And because I started my law firm, I actually have one position, a legal assistant position I have currently. We haven't made it public yet, but because we're busy with our launching event today, which I just finished. But I do have a position, and I'm happy that I'm here and extend this offer to you and all the participants of this event today. Please, and I have two law students already working for me. Anyone that comes to me, I try my best to help with advice and support. So anything, not only financial support, but also any sort of mentorship or any other support, anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm just a step away, right there in Danforth and Pharmacy. This is my office, is right next to the Ministry of Correctional Services. And it'll be a pleasure having you all and being able to support you. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Take this opportunity to hear from the mentors, some of them at least, who have who have been so kind and generous to give us some time. So if I could first we're going to hear from some mentors, and then we're going to hear from some community leaders that we have here. So if I could start by inviting Miss Gizem, if I could just please invite you to come in front and say a few words, please. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Gizem, please.
Am I supposed to try to introduce myself and talk about the program? Hello, hello everyone. I'm very, very happy to be here and be a part of this great initiative for especially new immigrants finding new jobs and employment. I came to Canada 8 years ago as an immigrant myself. I went to university here, and after that it was a huge hassle for me to find employment, and ever since I started my career I went through 2 company-wide layoffs. So I lost my job twice, and I know how difficult it is to find something, and I always say that finding a job is a 24/7 job. So you're going to get rejected a lot, and you're going to need a lot of guidance in this process, but we are here to help. And as Rizwan said, I'm pretty honest with my feedback, so I will make sure that I will be as honest as possible to make sure I get you a job. So we are all volunteers here, and I think that makes it a little bit better, because I will not give up unless I find my mentees a job. Anyways, very nice to see you, very nice to meet with you. Bye.
Thank you.
Come in front of us and say a few words. Ms. Naila Ahmed, business analyst working for Apotex, the second largest pharmaceutical company of Canada.
Hello everyone. What a wonderful initiative this is, Rizwan. We are, on behalf of BCCS, opening our own employment initiative. I guess Rizwan's been talking about this for a long, long time now. Before we started educating senior citizens on technical stuff, I think Rizwan said, Naila, I walk through Danforth, I see a bunch of people. These are all our people, all the Bangladeshi people, all the immigrants, and I have this glorious plan for them. They're here, they want to grow. Canada's beautiful, bright, everyone's going to just become wonderful. They're going to have jobs, the kids are going to be bright, and then little by little, as I look at this institution, it's just unreal how this much has grown. Like BCCS has started and barely knew a little bit about it. I know it has been in existence for a long time, but gradually as I look at it, like from small initiatives to the youth, to dramas, to plays, to the entertainment, we are growing very, very, very fast. Now, just to go back a little bit, in 2015 I met Rizwan. I actually did not have a job myself. I immigrated here about 6 years ago from the States. My schooling was done there, and I was telling him that, I think I'm going to go back to Bangladesh. I'm pretty qualified. I've been looking for jobs, and I can't get one. And honestly, a lot of people have qualifications, but networking is an art. It's not just you go see someone, meet someone, and you talk to them and say, hey, you know what, let's be friends, and could you give me a job? It's just so much more than that. It is the persistence, it's the tenacity, it's the constantly, going there, pushing for it, trying it out, getting rejected, and then eventually finding that one small opportunity, and then that's where you are. Anyway, I'm extremely excited to be here, and when I first heard about this initiative, I was saying, Rizwan, what are we going to do? Rizwan's like, we're going to give people jobs, we're going to try to give people jobs. If you have a job, you're going to try to find someone who is going to be able to get someone a job. That's what your job is about. Somehow make it happen. Another thing is, a wise man at one point told me, go big or go home, kid. I love that line. Actually, I think if you have big dreams and if you have the dream to become someone, to get a job, to have a great life, it is possible. And it is a great idea not to ever give up on that hope. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks all the mentors, participants, and attendees, and BCCS and lead. And of course, thanks to Rizwan. I am here, okay, Rizwan introduced me as a community leader. Actually, I am not so much hang with him, maybe he does. I don't like to be a community leader to introduce myself. Instead, I am a leader, but I lead professional organization. I am the director of finance of Association of Bangladesh Engineers Ontario, whole Ontario, and I am the general secretary of Khulna Engineering University Alumni Association Canada. But moreover that, I am here in Canada 19 years, and I did my master's in computer science. I'm 19 years. I always felt that I have to do something for my community. Wherever I am, wherever is small city, big city, I work across USA, Canada, and different province of Canada and different state of USA. Wherever I go, I try to help community. By community, build the community, and to helping people to get job in engineering field, in IT field. And by the way, I am an electrical and electronic engineer, but now I am working in IT field. I am a senior business intelligence architect in Parsons Incorporation. This is a very large company across North America and throughout the world. And I am working with IBM too. So my question is, today I feel a little bit jealous on some young leaders, last 18-20 years, I am helping my personal, those who are around me, like my professional people, I am helping them personally, one-to-one. Like, I am building their resume, I am checking their resume, I am cleaning their resume, even I am taking one-to-one mock-up interview for them, even for engineers, even for my friends. And I am proud to say here that many of them in the market, many of them almost they are in 6-digit salary job. One of them here, one of the engineer here, young engineer here in this room, who got also job, maybe I had little help for him, for his resume, for his networking, how to place the resume, where to place the resume, I try everywhere. But, that is on-to-one. It is not enough. I feel jealous today that 18 years I was thinking, how can I help the community, in a big way, how to help as a whole. But that my dream taken away by this gentleman. By this gentleman, Rizwan, I am really grateful to you and thankful to you that you did such a humble and great initiation from your end. I know this guy just 6 months before. After 6 months, just by this 6 months, I am very senior to him, but I become a really fan of him. This is no hesitation to say here that I am fan of him. And also another guy here, Usmani, I like this gentleman also, very young guy, and you guys will go so far. And any help from me, even professionally, even mentoring, even resume cleaning, even mock-up interviewing. I am working in a senior architect position in Parsons Incorporation with IBM. I have IBM certification. I will be there. I will be there at any cost. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Naushali. Now we have a very famous personality in this room here today. Famous not because he acts or he sings or he dances or anything like that, but he's famous because he is the key individual in preserving our Bangladeshi culture and heritage in this community. And he has been doing so graciously for so long. If I could please invite Mr. Syed Samsul Alam to please come in front of us and say a few words. When would I know not to say come up on stage? Mr. Syed Samsul Alam, we very dearly call him Alam Bhai. He is Alam Bhai of everyone.
Thank you very much, Rizwan. Not very long, you just informed me for this event. So, it was my dream. I came here 22 years back, and from the beginning, I'm in the Danforth area. I had a dream to do something like that. I talked to a lot of people, lot of organizations in this community, but nobody thinks like that. They think other way. So today, my dream is come true through this one. Thank you very much. And one gentleman, he's very young, talented guy. I met not for long, but I already understood that they can change the society. And lot of people like this, I saw this suffering from different angle. They have lot of good education, but they don't know where to knock and how to knock. Some people, they did very big job in back home, and when they came here, they thought that their job is ready here. But they don't understand the totally different community, different culture. They has to learn something from this community first, and they have to understand how this community runs. Therefore, I am asking you to give them the lesson first. If they think that there is a big thing in back home, it will not work here. And they have to start from the beginning. And I but suggestion for some people a long time ago. One guy is a very big banker. He worked Chase Manhattan Bank in America. And he came here, he studied his master's in Los Angeles. He came one day in my store. I have a small store that time, video store. How can I don't find any job. I work in America, but I don't find any job here. What can I do? I said to him, brother, you start from the entry level, like a teller, bank teller. He listened to me, and he started, and I said there are a lot of opportunities inside the bank, and they will help you to do the courses, and if you have the quality, then you can go up. Within 4 to 5 years, he went to the top position, and now he's he's a branch manager. He came to me and he said he bought a big house and new car, and his kids grown up, and he said now he has the couple of millions of disbursement for his own. He can do it. So I said there are a lot of experience like that. One gentleman from the Beximco, he came here. He was a network engineer. He was not finding any job. So I said, start from the beginning. He went to the Mississauga and joined in one company as a technician. So one day they had a big problem in this company. So he was just telling that this is the problem, I can solve this problem. So when he joined this job, he never shows all the resumes. He just cut it short, and when they asked how you know that, so I can solve this problem. Luckily he did this job, and they are asking him how you know that. He said, oh, man, I am not qualified for this technician. I am actually doing very big job in back home. And they asked for his resume, and he within 2 years he was in the top position. So this is the way, and they have to understand the situation. So I am asking this one, and small course you have to keep it like that. Tell them the reality is these things. You never think it's a big thing, but if you have the quality, you can go up automatically in a short time. So I thank you everybody and all the mentors and everything I saw. I am 63 years old, but I feel always 25. I say to everybody, I am 25 until I die. And I never sit with the old guys, those who are coming back. I said always I sit with the 18 years, 20 years. I can learn a lot of things from them. So I cannot learn from them, the old guys. If they're old but mentally they're young like me, then I have no problem. So thank you very much. I see a lot of people, I know them for a long time. I'm in the Danforth, and any kind of help, I'm telling you, Rizwan, I told you that day, monetary or any other support, I'm with you. And these type of things, and I told you another thing is coming within 2-3 weeks maybe, and you will organize these things. And I promise in front of these people, and maybe a lot of people will know, everybody knows me, what I said, I do it. I'll do it. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alum bhai. You're always a source of inspiration. I see Maria is actually say a few words, but that's okay. So we'll save it for the networking dinner. Okay. Now, if I could please invite Mr. Fahad Rafiq to come and say a few words, because there are 3 individuals who. Well, there are a lot of individuals who are not part of Bangladeshi community, but there are 3 who have been with me since day 1 when I was trying to plan this, and Fahad has been one of them. I can't thank you enough. Please, a few words.
Hello everyone, my name is Fahad. I'm very excited to join this initiative. I'm going to be one of the mentors. I work in finance field, and I've skipped jobs from one sector to the other, so I'm sure I will be able to help individuals on how to find a transitional path to the career of their aspiration. Obviously, this is a new millennial era where you can't stick to one organization and expect to retire. So you got to adapt to how the world is changing, and I hope I'll be able to mentor some of you to figure out your path. Thank you.
Now, if I could please ask Mr. Ravi Mehta to come and say a few words. He is one of the trio, is that the word? Who helped me plan this entire initiative. Ravi Mehta, he works for Adidas.
Thank you, Rizwan Bhai. Yeah, that's like you mentioned. Rizwan had called me, I think, how long was it ago? It was a few months ago. We had this discussion, I remember. But the biggest thing for me that interested me about this whole program and this process was when I first moved out to this province about 4 years ago, I didn't know anybody here. I struggled. All I had was a job in my hand. And I was lucky enough that I started with Fahad. I started with Rizwan.
You had us!
And those were my 2 mentors at the time. They instructed me, they helped me. I know Fahad, I don't know if you remember this one story, we had an instant seminar on negotiation that we were set up together. And I'll never forget the feedback he gave me at the end of it, but I learned from it, and it helped me to the point that I actually won an award based on my negotiation subsequent to that 6 months later. So I know the power of mentorship. I understood when Rizwan told me. I look forward to working with all of you in the next couple of months, and hopefully this goes on for years.
Thank you so much, brother. We have the representative of one of our elected officials. We have Tanvir Shahnawaz. He is the constituency manager for our member of parliament for Beaches East York. I would like to ask him to please come forward and say a few words. Tanvir, he is the constituency manager for Nathaniel. Yes.
Thank you very much, Rizwan Bhai. I gotta say for the record, not constituency manager, not Bill Blair's assistant, Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, MP for Beaches East York. I'm also still a part-time undergrad student, and so personally speaking, I'm very lucky to be here because I'm gleaming with all the possibilities and opportunities to network with people already here for my future career. But just to hit on what this is all about today, I mean, Rizwan Bhai, you're not just a community leader, activist, but you're a social mobilizer. The fact that we're here right now, we're being acquainted with one another right now, that in itself is already the first step in networking. And I mean, I'm taking away the PowerPoint slides, people's names on my phones. I'm looking at ways my angle to like introduce myself to a few people here. That in itself is networking. Like for you to establish this platform right now, that in itself is going to go a long way. It's very impactful. So thank you for that. I'm not the MP, so I gotta send my regrets. He's currently out of town. I think he promised to you, because it doesn't matter what I say. I think he promised you that he's going to support whichever way we can. And I'm just echoing that sentiment. On another personal aside, I also sit on the Premier's Council on Youth Opportunities. So that's a multi-partisan advisory board made up of youth leaders across the province, ages 14 to 25 plus. and our mission is to amplify the voices of underrepresented populations across the province in the decision-making process. Because maybe not unbeknownst to you all, but as we've been touching on the political correctness, decisions are made primarily by middle-aged white folk, and if I can represent this community as much as I can, if I can bring their voices to the table, maybe we can figure out the best objectives in the best way possible for everyone in this province to succeed. And for us, and for me personally, I'm so lucky to be able to say that such an initiative is present in my community, that I can bring back to the Premier, that I can bring back to the Minister of Children and Youth Services, and I can proudly say that I am hopefully a part of this. I am hopefully a part of this initiative. It's in my community. I am there to support from the Premier's Council standpoint. I'm there to support from the MP standpoint, and I'm also there to support as a second generation Bangladeshi Canadian who knows firsthand, as many of us all do, the struggles that it has been for our parents to get to put us where we are today. Canada itself is a settler nation, so whether it be someone's whose parents' generation or it's their parents' generations or it's their parents' generations leading back and so forth, everyone had to struggle. This is just a wonderful and hopefully a very impactful way that we could make it less stressful and it'd be less of a hardship for the generations going forward, for the generations currently, and for Canada, for Ontario, for Toronto, for Crescent Town, for any community out there that we can impact, for them as a whole to make a big impact. So thank you very much for this.
I think we have arrived at the end of our event today. I would like to thank all of you, but before I conclude, we have some snacks at the back, but before even we go there, if I could please invite Mr. Syed Abdul Ghaffar to say a few words and bring this event to its close. Mr. Syed Abdul Ghaffar, he's the advisor.
I hope that we can make a good network between the mentors and the mentor. And our aim is to make the network between the mentor and the mentor. We cannot offer anybody any job, but that's the main goal, to make the network with the right person, with the right place, with the right person. Because I believe if we have a good network and if you know the right person who can, who have the scope to employ someone else, and you have the right skill, then first of this person will first of all, he will remind you that you are the right person, you can come and get the job. So that's why I believe, I work in the city of Toronto. It's more than 16 years. Now I'm going to be retired. I'm planning to be retired. And I saw Mr. Enamul mentioned that 60% hidden job. It's not 60%. I say it's 90% hidden job. Especially for the big organization where there is a unionized organization. With the union, the management have the contract. Then first of all, they have to be job posting within the organization. If they do not get the right person within the organization, then they can go out. Without that, they cannot go out. And that's why I say, just get into the boundary of the organization. Then that's why it's happened to me. Because 16 years before I started as a pump technologist, filtration plant technologist in the city of Toronto. That is, in this position, back home, in this position, 250 employees, 250 pump operator under me. And on top of that, I had the sub-assistant engineer, I had the assistant engineer. But there I started this position because I had some experience, not only experience, I had some design experience, I had some practical experience. And also still now I want to go to the field. And I try to, as an engineer, I always try to make the field and the design and drawing. So after that, I applied for professional engineer's licensure. I got it, and after that, I got the license. I got the engineering job. So that was my journey, and it takes. Interesting thing, I did my master's in the building system engineering in England, but I did the diploma in Canada with the same subject. because I was looking for the job, an entry-level job. Without entry-level job, I cannot get. So that's why and I like to thank, special thanks to those who are willing to become our mentors, and the community leaders, and the media who came, and I request all of them, please publicize our initiative to the community, and hopefully we'll have a good, we will have to do something else good, and hopefully we'll be successful. Thank you very much, and again, thanks for your time, and thanks for your time. Thank you.
So please feel free to help yourselves with some snacks. There you guys enough, the mentors here.